birthday.
Two most awkward minutes of the week.
There's our agenda.
Okay.
That.
Get it just right.
I'd like to call this meeting to order. Council, welcome. At this time, I'd like to give the opening to Councillor Susan Penner.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Those of us who have had the privilege of growing up in a free country take it for granted. Freedom is all we have ever known, so we don't realize how wonderful it is. This past month of social distancing and government restrictions to prevent the spread of COVID-19 has given us a small glimpse of what it is like when government wields a heavy hand. And while government restrictions may be justifiable in the short term to fight COVID-19, it is imperative that we hold governments accountable to returning our full freedoms in the near future. The foundation of all free and democratic countries is that freedom is an unalienable right, not a privilege granted by the government. Though certain limitations on fundamental freedoms are unavoidable and justifiable during a dramatic public health crisis, governments must be transparent, provide details, and set end dates for restrictions. Because living through a pandemic is something new and none of us has done before, the public has been eager to follow government restrictions and recommendations, assuming governments have our best interest in mind. However, it also sets the stage for opportunistic authoritarian governments to take more power and reduce freedom in the name of public safety. For example, when the COVID-19 crisis started, Hungary's Prime Minister pushed through a law that suspends elections and gives him authority to rule by decree indefinitely. Russian President Vladimir Putin has endorsed a proposal allowing him to remain in office until 2036. In India, the government has placed a gag order on the Indian news media. They are forbidden from writing anything that would cast the government in a bad light in its fight against COVID-19. China and other countries are using smartphone apps, drones, and biometric systems to track quarantine violators. But what assurance is there that this tracking will stop after the outbreak? Hungary, Russia, India, and China are not alone. Power-hungry governments worldwide are using COVID-19 as a pretext to crack down on human rights for political purposes. And if you think Canada is immune, think again. At the very beginning of this crisis, the Trudeau government attempted to implement emergency measures for 21 months. That's 21 months of no accountability of parliamentary spending for a virus it had little to no reliable information on. And now the Liberal government is contemplating legislation to make it an offence to spread information about COVID-19 that it deems harmful, censoring what can and cannot be said about the virus. How is this even a consideration? This is a gross infringement on freedom of speech. Not to mention, even experts are not all on the same page. If governments are allowed to impose indefinite and disproportionate restrictions in the name of stopping COVID-19, the negative effects will do more damage than the outbreak. No matter how concerned or fearful we are about COVID-19, giving up our freedoms long-term in the name of public safety is not an option. So while we all do our best in the short term to social distance, we cannot lose sight of holding governments accountable to returning our hard-fought freedoms as soon as possible, because once they are gone, they are very hard to get back. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Penner. Okay, Council, we have our agenda in front of us. Looking for a motion to adopt. Councillor Penner, second by Councillor Swagstra. Call for the question. All those in favor? That's carried. We have the minutes of April 7th, 2020, regular council meeting. They start on page 1. Council, we've all had a chance to review. Looking for a motion to approve. Councillor Seaman, second by Councillor Penner. Call for the question. All those in favor? That is carried. Is there any business arising from the minutes? Okay, seeing none. We will go, it is 7:35, so we'll go directly into the public hearing. This is re 4451, 2019, 8254, re 426 Rockwood Street. It starts on page 6 on our agenda. I'd like to close the council meeting and open the public hearing. Mr. Workteam, could you please introduce this file?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, this is an application for subdivision file 4451-2019-8254. The owner of the property is Kenneth and Myrna Jean Friesen. The applicants for the subdivision are Stefan Joliker and Stacy Hayes. Purpose of the subdivision application is to subdivide the existing parcel of land into 2 lots and create the extension of Rockwood Street, as is shown on the sketch provided on page 20 of your information packages. Notices as required under the Planning Act have been issued. There is no written correspondence on file other than the report from Community and Regional Planning. Application from administration is that council approve the application for subdivision and the road extension subject to the execution of a development agreement.
Thank you, Mr. Workteam. The applicant is not here today. Council, are there any questions on this file for administration? Oh, go ahead, Mr. Workteam.
Yeah, sorry, my mistake. I neglected to mention that the applicant did advise administration that he was not intending to attend the public hearing tonight. However, he did submit an email, which council members would have received a copy of with respect to some of the background as to their application.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Hebert, you have a question?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, through you to administration. Administration just reported that there was 2 lots being divided into 2 lots. On page 12 of the application, it says that there's 3 lots under number 6 there.
Near as I can tell from that application, one of the lots that may have been identified was the road opening plan parcel. But it is in fact only 2 lots being created from the one.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Yes, Councillor Flake.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I don't think we have a copy of the email. Could the city manager read the email to us, or is it?
Okay. I could, unless. Okay. I can do that. It is addressed to Lacey Gaudette, the city's planner. And the email reads, "Hi Lacey, I've decided not to attend the council meeting tonight. Here's an email stating the reason for the subdivision application. Square Prairie Ltd. bought the property at 426 Rockwood in 2016 as an investment opportunity. The plan from the beginning was to subdivide the property, creating 3 total lots, 1 with the house and 2 lots which could sell or develop in the future. After much investigation and talks with the City of Steinbach planners, we have realized that our best option is to allow the city to have a swath of land for a road allowance and subdivide the lot into 2 lots, which we can retain, 1 with the house and the other lot which we could sell or develop, and that is what we are proposing today. Thank you for your time. Stacy Hayes."
Thank you.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. Any further questions for administration? Is there anyone here wanting with questions or wanting to object to this file? Is there, I'll just ask the city clerk, is there anyone in the atrium that's wanting to come forward on this file? Okay, no one? Okay, I'll ask one more time, and then we'll proceed. Is there anyone here with questions or wanting to, or objections for this file? Seeing none, we will close the public hearing and open the council meeting. Council, how would you like to proceed? Councillor Schweitzer?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'll make the motion that we approve the application.
Okay. Do we have a seconder? Councillor Siemens? Go ahead, Councillor Schweitzer.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I think this is a fairly straightforward application, and the rationale here is quite clear in regards to, in terms of the subdivision. And so I have no problem with allowing for the additional residential lot, and then this, of course, enables the extension of Rockwood Street. The email explains the rationale for their planning. There's no concerns that are raised by our administration, and no one is objecting, so it makes sense to approve.
Anything further, Councillor Siemens?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, just further, this has been a contentious issue in the past simply because of the proposed public right-of-way that the city has asked for each time that an application is made. So it is good that they have followed suit with the city plans because that does speak to further expansion, possible expansion in residential lots in that area.
Okay, thank you. Any further of council? Is there anything in closing?
No.
Okay. Well, council, I have nothing more to add myself, so we'll go straight to the question and call for the question. All those in favor? Okay, opposed? That is carried. Okay. Council, we have no delegations today, and we also have no reports and recommendations from our city manager. So we'll go to 9, administration, 9A, accounts payable in the back of the book. Council, you've all had a chance to look over. We're looking for a motion to approve. Are there any questions about any of the accounts payable? Okay. Motion to approve. Councillor Hebert, second by Councillor Seaman, or Hebert. Two Heberts. Keep forgetting that. Any comments?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I looked over it and it looks pretty clear and no issues. Thank you.
Okay. Anything further? Anything further of council? Anything in closing?
None. Thank
Okay,
you.
we'll call for the question. All those in favor? That's carried. Okay, 9B, this is bylaw 2141. We're going to be doing first and second reading today. This is a plan of works for Harmony Lane. It starts on page 40 of our agenda. Mr. Warkentine, would you please introduce this file?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, this is bylaw 2149, which is a proposed plan of works for a parcel of land in the recently approved Harmony Lane subdivision. This is being proposed in connection with the anticipated development and will be ultimately developed to contain stormwater management facilities in connection with this development. The land is being dedicated by the developer as part of the development agreement that was previously signed. However, it is recommended by management at this point to give this bylaw only first reading at this time.
Only first reading? Oh,
Only.
okay.
And that's our recommendation. Thank you.
Okay. Council, how would you like to proceed? Councillor Penner?
Motion to approve?
Do we have a seconder for that? Councillor Penner? Go ahead, Councillor Penner.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. It's important in the long-term planning of a city that has the topography of a postage stamp that we have stormwater management in place. This is something that is for the benefit of not only the citizens in that area, but for the whole city to control how our water is flowing in times of storm. So I don't see any issues with approving this and moving forward.
Anything further?
Nothing further.
Anything further of council? Anything in closing? Yes, council, I would definitely agree with Councillor Penner that with our level of flatness, that it is very good to have opportunity like this to control our stormwater. So I will call for the question. All those in favor? Opposed? That is carried. Okay, council, we will then go to 9C. This is building permit, starts on page 46. We've had a few permits taken in the last month. Just looking for a motion to approve. Councillor Swagstra, second by Councillor Penner. Go ahead, Councillor Swagstra.
No, I have nothing to add.
Dad? Nothing further? Okay, we'll call for the question. All those in favor? That is carried. Okay, 9D, we've got excavator license on page 47. Looking for a motion to approve. Councillor Siemens, second by Councillor Hebert. Any comments?
No, sir, but it is exciting to move dirt.
Anything further?
I have nothing to add. Thank you.
Call for the question. All those in favor? That is carried. Okay, number 10, council question period. Are there any questions of council? Moving on to, seeing none, we'll move on to 11, correspondence and petitions. We have 11A, we have the Minister of Municipal Relations, Mobility Disadvantaged Transportation Program. Council, how would you like to proceed? We can take that as information. Okay. And number 12, there's no other business. So we're looking for a motion to adjourn. Councillor Penner, second by Councillor Siemens. We'll call for the question. All those in favor? That is carried. Next regular council meeting will be Tuesday, May 5th.